playing with this because I have a true number 9. But here's the tactics. Press after possession loss, 40 with 71 depth. I got my defense set up like that because my defense is basically my offense, right? I attack the same way I defend the same way I attack. I want the ball back ASAP so I can keep the ball on offense. So press after possession loss helps me with that. Also, I don't press way too hard, right? Because you're gonna be open to counterattacks. So even though I use press after possession loss, I tend to run my team back, and there's a certain instruction in there that really helps you on that with a certain player that I think helps me big time. But that's the reason why my defense is set up like that. It's just like real life, Man City. Any team that plays possession, they're gonna play a high depth and they're gonna press when they don't have the ball, so they can get the ball back, right? Okay. Uh, Build up and chance creation. Kind of self-explanatory because we do play a possession style play, and we want to play a little bit slower. You could play balanced if you wanted to. If you wanted to switch it up, if you wanted to play that Brighton style of play, but I feel like they make runs that you don't want them to make. So slow build up, I like that, and I can make my own runs with the L1 and the R1 buttons. Possession, it's the same reason. I want these guys to not make unnecessary runs, and I like them to take up space and kind of sit in that pocket of space instead of making a run that they don't have to. Same thing as. So, and they stay in their position. So, on balance, if they're making runs and you attack and then you don't score, now you're going to get countered, right? So, you got to be smart with it. The depth 71, I like to play wider. Why? Because you want to take the pitch, right? You want to use as much of the pitch as you can. Gives you a lot of options, gives you a lot of space. Players in the box, 5, I like to keep it balanced. Corners, free kicks, it really doesn't matter. Do whatever you want to do. Instructions, I have Kane on just balance, right? And I don't want him to get in behind. I don't want him to drift wide. I don't care if he stays central or not, because I want him to just do what he does. Johan Cruyff, uh, for him, free roam. That's all I have because I want him to be able to find space. I want him to have the freedom to move. Um, so that's why I have him on that. And by the way, I defend in the same formation. I defend in a 4-4-1-1. So that's why I have Gabriel on comeback on defense and Saka on comeback on defense. So come back on defense, stay wide, get in the box for cross. Um, so I got him on get in the box for crosses because if I'm playing on the right side of the field, let's say I have Saka, I want him to run across and try to get in the box, right? A lot of times they'll be wide open. Same, and I have the same instruction on Saka. I have him on stay wide because I want him to stay wide. I want to be able to have um, to create more space by staying wide, taking up the most pitches possible. Zinchenko, just like in real life, Zinchenko plays an inverted role as a left back. I want him to play that same role because he has the stats to be a center mid, right? Literally, I could switch Zinchenko for Casemiro and Bruno, and nothing would change. He has those stats to play in that position. And it's good to create 1-2s between these two players. Casemiro, tight mark, stay back, cover center, deep line playmaker, right? Deep line playmaker is basically like free roam, except he's going to be back. He's going to be playing the same thing as Johan Cruyff, but he's going to be back and he's going to be finding space. And it really creates an option for me because let's say I'm attacking and I can't go anywhere. I know Casemiro, I'm going to have a passing option to him. Okay? So that's why I have him there. Cover center, I want him to cover the center, just like Bruno. We're playing in a 4-4-2. These two are in the middle. Stay back. I don't want him to attack as much. He doesn't have great as a shot, and I want him to stay back for when those counters inevitably happen because my fullbacks do go up. So a lot of times it's like I'm defending in a back three with Ake, Saliba, and Casemiro. And tight mark, I'm new to this. I used to have cut passing lanes on, and I didn't like it because sometimes they would try to get in front of the pass, and you know how FIFA is. It just like goes through their legs, and it's like, nah, screw that. I'm done with that. So I changed the balance. It works, but I tried out tight mark, and tight mark works so well on that counter attack because what happens is he tries to defend that first player in the middle on that counter, and he just tightly marks them, and it just it just works out for me. So I like this, so I keep it. Bruno, cover center, get forward. You can play honestly balance. It depends on who your center defensive mid is there. If you got a guy who isn't that good at shooting, you may want to keep him at balance. Um, but I like him on get forward just because Johan Cruyff. He let's say Johan Cruyff. Um, he has the ball. It's great for 1-2s between these two guys because Johan Cruyff is on free roam, so he may drop deeper in, almost like a false nine, and Bruno will end up running up forward, especially since this Trippier is on an overlap, which I'll get in that soon. So that's why I have to get forward on him. Just makes the attack so much better. I have more options on the attack. Saka come back on defense because I'm defending in a 4-4-2, get in the box. Same reason Gabriel is getting in the box. I have him on cutting inside because I have Trippier on overlap. And I have Trippier on overlap because he has crazy crossing. And I just like to switch it up on the left side and the right side. I don't like to have the same looks. I don't want you to find out how I'm attacking. So it's the same attack. It's the same philosophy on both sides, but they're just switched, right? On this side, the ringers cutting inside. On this side, the fullbacks cutting inside, right? On this side, the wingers stand wide. On this side, the fullbacks staying wide, right? I have my defenders on aggressive interceptions because I like to play aggressive. And Courtois, comfort crosses, and sweeper keeper. Sweeper keeper, you don't have to put crumbs for crosses on, but in FIFA, there's literally like no disadvantage to that because the keepers will catch literally everything. Sweeper keeper, it's good to have that on. I always hold Y anyways, but if you forget, he'll kind of run out of his box a little bit. So yeah, those are the tactics. And there's another tactic which you use in the game. If you are noticing in the game that your opponent is um, clogging up the midfield, which I want to say half of the opponents do because the meta in FIFA for years has been the through ball up the middle to Mbappe. So many people defend very narrow, so it may come to a surprise to people when they see, you know, that my depth isn't like one or something because people play on very low depths because of that. Um, if I see that, and most people defend in the 4-4-2, and they want to take up that middle. If I see that on the D-pad, what I do is I put touch sidelines or whatever, right? It's the up button, and then you press the right button. And basically, what it does is this makes your wingers stay wide. Even though Saka's on cut inside, he'll also be wide, and it just gives you more space to work with in the middle because they're wide. Um, and also your fullbacks will be wide as well. It just gives you a whole lot more space to work with. Gives you a lot more passing options. So those are the tactics. They work well for me. So you know, try them out, see if they work for yourself. And yep, that's that.